Welcome to day 8 of the Build with AI series with Steven. The Build with AI series is a 30-day series where we'll be building simple apps and tools using AI. The tool we're using for building these tools is the Google AI Studio. And today we'll be building a voice partner assistant. This helps you change your ideas and thoughts into actual action points and actionable items. So you can just go to the tool and start talking. It understands what you're saying and is able to use what you've said either for a back and forth conversation or to create actual action steps that help you turn your ideas into work done. There will be real-time voice recording, voice transcription, content classification. That's if what you're saying is an idea, a task, a reminder, or a note. And then there'll be extraction of action items. For us to build this, we'll be using 2 out of the 4 phases that I have shared for building an app through vibe coding. The phase 1 is the brainstorming, and this is where we'll start from. Let's now go to my laptop as we get started on this. This is the prompt we're using to start the brainstorming process. Now, like I explained earlier, you can literally just start with just the first part of this prompt that says, I want to build a voice partner assistant, full stop. And then you put this last part that says, ask me questions, 1 question at a time. What this does for you is that you have a back and forth about the features of the assistant. However, because I have an idea of some of the features I want already, I'm going to go ahead and add more details to it. Why? Because I've already thought about the features I want and I have done an outline of them. So if you have an idea of what exactly you want this app to be able to do already, you can add that in context for your brainstorming. So let me just read this out. It says, I want to build a voice partner assistant to solve the problem of scattered ideas and tasks in voice recordings, real-time voice recording, and file upload for context when needed, instant transcription during speech, content classification. That means what you say can be classified as an idea, a task, a reminder, a note, depending on what you're talking about with the assistant. Action item extraction with ownership, calendar event generation, follow-up template creation, priority-based organization dashboard. Ask me questions, 1 question at a time, that will help me build this app, giving me options, context, and recommendations for each question. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and take it to Google Gemini, and I will paste it here. Alright, so let's start the brainstorming session. Alright, so this sounds like a fantastic project, of course. The first question is, where do you want this assistant to live? Do you want it as a web application, a native mobile app, or a desktop app? We're going to use a web application because we're not building a mobile app at this stage. So 1 web application. Now the next question is, what technologies are you considering for your front end and back end? Now this is a tech question. For most tech questions, you can just answer that I will be building this using the Google AI Studio. I want to use all the AI capabilities of the studio and the React technology. React is the framework that the Google AI Studio uses. And we can just add it Firebase. Firebase is Google's database solution. Okay, so that has been taken note of. Now the next question is, how do you want to handle the instant transcription during speech parts? Do you want a browser-based transcription, a dedicated AI transcription, or a record then process type of transcription? We're going to go with number 2, the AI transcription. This will be more accurate for us, so let me go with 2. And this is still about the technology. There's a recommendation to use the simpler AI Studio method. I'll go with that for this particular application, and that's because we don't want to go into cloud services for now. Okay, so let's go with number 2 here. By the way, as we go further into the series, we can begin to talk about the cloud. Now the next question is about the categories. If we're going to use the 4 categories, tasks, ideas, reminders or notes, or to add more details like other categories, or to start it even simpler with 2 main categories, actionable and reference, we're going to just go ahead with our first 4 categories, which is tasks, ideas, reminders, and notes. So let me just click on one here. What we're doing right now is we're still just brainstorming and aligning on the features. This is an important part of the process of building an application so that you're building what is aligned with what you want to create. Next question is, when AI identifies a task or reminder, what key details should it try to capture? Number one, just the action itself. Number two, action plus due dates. Number three, action plus owner plus due dates. Number three is the best of these options, so I'm just going to go ahead and select option 3. Now, the next question is, what should the workflow be for creating a calendar event? There are 3 options here: fully automatic, one-click confirmation, manual copy or download. While the fully automatic would have been a preferred option, it requires a little bit more setup than the second one, which is trying to set up the authentication for Google Calendar and other calendars. So we're going to go with number 2, which is a one-click confirmation for now. So let me type number 2 here. Now we have the next question. The next question is about the follow-up template creation. How and when should this feature work? First option is a generate summary button on every note, a meeting category with auto generation, or a separate composer tool. For this particular question, we'll go with the first option, which is after every note, you generate summary and AI can process what you just talked about. So I'll just go with option 1. Next question is, what should the main organizational principle of the dashboard be? Should it be a simple timeline, like an inbox format? Should it be a category view or a smart priority view? I think I want a combination of 2 and 3. So let me just use that. Now we have the next question, which is about the file upload for context when needed. So when a user uploads a pre-existing file, currently it is thinking it's just an audio file, but I want it to be able to upload even a document, right? So let me just indicate that the user should be able to upload a document or even share a link as more context, not just audio. So that brings the context to PDF, document, or URL. And it's asking for how we want this to be. If it's going to be context-aware recording, that means whatever you're recording, the AI will be able to analyze both what you're saying and the context you added, right? Which is what I think I'll go with, not standalone document analysis. So that's number 1. And the user should be able to manually type text to give more context, right? To give context to. To give context or instructions to. Alright, now the next thing is, how would the user find old content? Is it a simple filtering, standard keyword search bar, or a conversational search? For now, we're going to go ahead with a combination of option 2 and 3. So let's just do 2 and 3. That means we're able to do a standard keyword search and also an AI-powered conversational search. Now the next thing is about authentication and signing. What's the primary way users should sign in? Is it email and password, social logins, or both of them? The recommendation here is number 2. I think I'll just go ahead and select number 2 for this. Alright, so with this we've come to the end of our brainstorming. These are the details of all the things we've brainstormed so far. Now it's time to create the initial build prompt that will be used to build this tool. We're going to use this build prompt generator here that says create a detailed build instruction for this app that contains the context, all features, the workflow, user journey, and any other detail. So let me just copy this and we'll paste it here. And because I'm seeing that it's asking about the MVP here, I'm just going to indicate, not the MVP. I don't want just the minimum viable product. I want like a full app, okay? Okay, so this is it. It's loading up the voice partner assistant. All right, everything here is being created. Can you see that? So everything is now created. We're going to copy parts of this. There are some parts that has to do with the back end. We'll not copy that for now. So let's copy some parts of this. I'll just go ahead and start from this and take it down to this place. Alright, then I'll go to Google AI Studio, which is our build tool for this, and I'll paste this. And I'll copy the system workflow and the user journey here. And I'll paste this here. Alright, so here's build. One of the good things with Gemini is that it has a very large context window. That means even though what we've pasted is a lot, it's able to go through it and understand it to build something good. Alright, so this has been built, and as you can see, they're asking for permission for my microphone, definitely, because we'll need to use this as a voice partner app. Let's click on allow here. Okay. So here we are. This is the dashboard, right? You can search all content, you can ask your assistant, or you can put up a new note. Let's start up a new note, for example. I'm just going to click on new note here. You can either record the notes, you can upload an audio, you can add context, you can put a link, you can add more context using a file. Any way you want to go about this. Alright, let me, for example, click on choose a file here, and let me choose, for example, my LinkedIn profile that I downloaded in the previous episode of the series. By the way, if you don't watch that episode, you should definitely check it out. So I've uploaded my LinkedIn profile. I'm just going to go ahead and put up a note. So let me click on the record button. I would like to update my LinkedIn profile. I think that there are certain optimizations that can be done to it, but I'm not quite sure exactly what that would be. So probably a research can be done on the LinkedIn profile, and I would like to see suggestions on how to optimize my LinkedIn profile to be better, and some opportunities that I can take advantage of that I may not know yet. That's it. So I'm done recording my notes to my assistant. I'll just go ahead and click on process notes. Alright, so I noticed that when I clicked on process notes, nothing happens. This can be an error. Oh, okay, I thought nothing happened, but here we go. That note has been processed, and now a task has been generated, which is update LinkedIn profile, conduct research on LinkedIn profile for optimization opportunities, and suggestions on how to improve it. So these are tasks that have now been created for me based on the notes that I recorded. Can you see how simple this is? Let's try another note that involves a calendar, for example. I need to have a meeting with my new AI consultation clients next week, Friday at 9 a.m. Central European Time. So I need this on my calendar. So I'll click on process note there. Remember, it takes a little bit of time, as I noticed from the last one. By the way, you can work on the user experience so that while this is processing, there can be a sign that shows that something is processing. That's something we can have as a to-do. Now, interestingly, it is adding this as a task for me, not a reminder. And that should not be. It's supposed to be a reminder, right? So we can work on a new version of this app that is more actionable, that actually takes action. So let me add this. The assistant is merely converting my notes to updates instead of taking action on them, I need it to understand the intent, recommend actions it can take on my behalf, and ask for approval. So this is us trying to take this to another level. Let's work on this. Okay, so this has been updated. Let's try that calendar task again. So I'll click on new notes, click on record, and I'll say, I need to have an AI consultation meeting with a new client at 9 a.m. Central European Time next week, Friday. I need this scheduled for me. The client's name is Martins, and I'll add his email in the context. Let me just click on stop there. Let me add, for example, a Martins clients at gmail.com sample email here, and just click on process notes. But I think I definitely will need to work on that user experience so that when it's processing, we see something. So can you see this? So it has brought a suggested action for me now. Create calendar event. So create an AI consultation meeting with Martins for next week, Friday, 9 a.m. CET. Action details not available for display. So you can either approve and send or reject. Let me click on approve and see. Approving still got us back here. However, now I'm seeing an add to calendar option here. So I can click on add to calendar, and I am seeing that it's opening my Google Calendar, and this is what I wanted. Okay, so it's opening my Google Calendar. As you can see, although the meeting name is not yet good enough, right? It's saying schedule an AI consultation meeting as the meeting name. So it's also just be AI consultation meeting with Martins. But this is progress. Can you see this? This is progress. So with this, you can already just put it in your calendar automatically. Now, this is a good version of a voice partner assistant that can listen to your thoughts, get ideas from you. You can literally just click on record and begin to talk about what's on your mind. By the time you're done, it will create full ideas for you. It can even go ahead and give recommendations, give suggestions of actions to take, and even take some of those actions on your behalf. This is the voice partner assistant. Now, a second iteration of this, or a second version of this, definitely should have the Firebase linked with it so that it can store your data. So Firebase and Firestore, so you can store your data and you're able to see the things you've talked about before. You're able to get reminders and things like that. For the most part of this builder series, we will not be going into the cloud functions and Firebase setup for now. However, towards the end, and more especially in the Builders Lab, we'll be looking at both the front end and the back end. But today, we'll be able to build a voice partner assistant that listens to your ideas, turns them into action points, into reminders, and actually takes some action on your behalf. Let me know, is this something you'd like to use? Is this something you want us to build further? Should we work on the back end for this? Let me know in the chat box. Also, I would like to know what next you want us to build in this series. I'll see you in the next episode of this series. Until then, make AI work for you.